Texas Association of Private and Parochial Schools crowned all of its basketball champions last week, and claiming the 6A boys title was John Paul II out of Plano. The Cardinals were dominant this year against private and public school competition. Just a fantastic season for them, and tonight we've invited them into our studio. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Coach Dan Lee, I'll start with you. 40-1 and a state championship in your first season at the helm. So how do you follow that?
Oh, that's a good question. We'll have to stick around to figure that one out. It was definitely a very special year, Mike, and we didn't have any goals in terms of wins or losses at the beginning of the year. We just wanted to go out and get better every game, and we all knew we wanted to win a state championship. That was definitely our primary goal from day one, and we ended up accomplishing that and then having a record that was something we probably wouldn't have fathomed back in October.
What was it about this team, though, that allowed you guys to come together as a unit and have the success you did?
They were driven. They came up a little short last year, 2 games short of their goal, and they were definitely driven to get back to the state tournament and finish it off with a win this year and win the last game of the year. But really our chemistry was the difference in this team. Never one time did we ever have to have a team meeting about being unselfish, sharing the basketball, playing together. That just happened organically from day one, and they did a great job, and the chemistry was there all season long.
You mentioned coming up just short a year ago, lost in the state semifinals against Prestonwood Christian. A lot of these young men that are here tonight were part of that team, including Nate Dominic standing here, sitting here to my right. How did that drive this team, losing last year to Prestonwood in the semis?
Well, I think we knew we had our core coming back, a lot of it. So we told ourselves in the locker room that day, we're just like, remember this feeling. And we did all summer. We worked all season. We worked in practice every single day. And we came on the court and showed it, and we accomplished the goal that we came up short with last year.
This team played a little different style this year than you did a year ago. Jalen Todd, another one of the seniors, a guard on this team. Tell us a little bit about how different this team and your style of play was from last year.
We just play up-tempo, play pretty fast. We like to run everything in practice we did, going full speed, going hard, and just like we're a pretty athletic team, so running and gunning, it was a lot of fun.
That was one of the things that was very clearly on display watching you guys, the athleticism of this team. There weren't a lot of teams that you guys played this year that could match that athleticism. Did you feel like you had that advantage every night walking on the floor?
Yeah, I feel like we did, just like come ready to play, and just, it showed when we were like high-scoring team, averaging like 85 points a game, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, #1 team in the state in scoring average. Coach Lee, you were saying 83.5 a game before we started up?
I believe that was the final.
About somewhere in that ballpark.
Right.
A ton of points at the very least, whatever the actual average was. Best in the state and hard for anybody to keep up with. Anthony Goss, another senior on this team, a forward. You guys, and Coach alluded to this a moment ago, had a pretty unique team chemistry. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, on a team like this that's so successful, we won 40 games. There's usually egos with that, so there's so much talent. But we never had a problem with that. Every day we came to compete, but we're still playing for each other. We're all on the same team. We all play for the Cardinals at the end of the day. And just really to achieve a state championship with them was just so incredible, and I think it was really because of the chemistry that we had.
To that end, you guys had 8 seniors, correct, on this roster?
Yes, sir.
You have 8 seniors on a roster. Sometimes that can in itself be difficult because everybody wants one of those starting spots. You guys had a junior that was a starter on this team in Jalen Tyson, so that's 1 fewer starting spot for those 8 seniors to be battling for. How did you guys matriculate through that complexity and being able to have everybody understand their roles on this team?
Yeah, I think just with the common goal that we had, it didn't matter who was on the floor. We all know that we can play. Coach said from the beginning of the year, there's 14 guys on this team that can play anywhere, that could start anywhere. And sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and I think that's a really important theme of this year is that we all sacrificed, and no matter who was on the floor, we were all playing very hard and competing to the best of our ability.
I'll come to you now, Jalen Tyson, the one junior here with a microphone on tonight, one of the starters for this basketball team, and arguably maybe the best player on the team, at least the largest number of college prospects, I think is probably fair to say. You wanted to talk about practice, though. What was it about practice this year that was different for you guys that maybe led to winning this state championship?
Well, last year, we all went to practice, but we didn't have that same goal to get better. And this year, we all went to practice wanting to get better every single day, which led us to have a better season. 40-1 state championship. Last year we were finalists and we lost to Prestonwood by a lot. This year was just different. Coming to practice, wanting to be there, wanting to be for each other. Everybody's there for each other, trying to get better.
And I wanted to ask you also about the championship game itself against Antonian. Defending state champs, they've got a ton of talent, young and old. They got a kid that's a senior that's fantastic. They got a freshman that's outstanding as well. You guys were dealing with a lot with Antonian, and yet you were able to pretty much keep them at bay and at least maintain control of that game throughout. Why was it that you were able to do so?
We all believed in each other. We believed that everybody was going to hit a big shot. If it was going up, it was going to go in. Everybody believed that, but we still came with that dog mentality, yeah. That nobody's gonna come and take our state championship. We all talked about it after we won the game to Midland. We told ourselves we still got one more. We gotta get this ring, and we went and did it.
A little assist from Donovan Johnson on that. A little of that dog mentality. I like it. That's cool. Coach, I'll come back to you to wrap it up. 8 seniors makes it a little bit hard to necessarily repeat the success that you had this year, but you do have talent coming back. What does next year look like for JPII?
So we do have talent coming back, and we have some guys on the JV that are hungry and ready to step up and contribute. But what we did this year was we established a culture, a championship culture, and that's what we're going to go for every year. That's going to be our goal every year. And the guys that are going to be on the team next year are going to believe they can do it, just like the guys this year did it. And you know, it remains to be seen, but that's going to be our goal next year too.
In the meantime, a championship to celebrate and kind of bask in for a little while. It's a big accomplishment for this team, guys. Thanks so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
The John Paul II Cardinals, state champs in TAP 6A. Congratulations to them for sure. Coming up next, UIL boys basketball highlights. See who's going to state after this weekend's regional championships. We'll show you next on the Chevy High School Sports Special.